Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving into the energy, insights, and guidance coming in for you for both Gemini season and the month of June. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone who may be joining us out there. We are going to be looking into June as well as Gemini season. Happy birthday to any Geminis out there. But we're also going to be looking into, or rather celebrating Pride Month through the different queer decks that we're using and the queer little pieces on all the piles. I just want to send out a lot of love to the queer community. As a queer person myself, the LGBTQIA+ community has just been going through a lot of grief lately with all of these bills and all of the things worldwide. So if you can send a little bit of love, a little bit of kindness, a little bit of help or aid towards your queer community, locally or towards those in your life, those loved ones in your life, do feel free to do that this month. I think that would be really wonderful, and love and kindness like that goes such a long way. So I just wanted to send out a little bit of love through that here today, and we're also going to be doing some more queer videos and fun relationship videos here in the future for the rest of June. So definitely isn't going to just be this one, but if you're also interested in getting your own pride earrings this month for handmade, made-to-order crochet earrings, or interested in your own private reading to look deeper into queer matters or any other things that you have on your mind outside of the queer community, then do feel free to check those out down below for snail mail readings and private readings, as I'll have all of the information there on my Instagram as well as through my link tree. But yeah, with that all said, let's go ahead and start looking at these piles. So for each of the piles, I scrounged up all of the different little queer things that I have that fit on the piles and decided to use those for each of these. And surprisingly, they all kind of had something to do with each of the piles. So definitely feel free to use them as intuitively as you'd like. But here for pile number 1, some of these I had to put little tape on the back just so they'd stay, but we have You Can Play with this little button, and it has the queer flag behind it, the LGBT flag. So that is pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have this little pansexual pride pin with blue, yellow, and pink, and it's in the shape of a little rainbow here. So that is pile number 2. And here for pile number 3, we have this pendulum in a rainbow format with amethyst all the way down to the root chakra here. So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to your piles and the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing, grounding breath here with me so that you can really connect with your intuition and the piles. So let's go ahead and take that deep cleansing breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind. There really are no rules here. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And you're also welcome, like I said, to check out those offerings, the Kindred tip jar, or if you want to see more of my queer journey, you can see that over on Instagram as well, because I'm going to be doing quite a few posts on that this month. So do feel free to see all of that down below, and we're going to go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this little button that says You Can Play with this rainbow in the background, then this is the pile for you for your month of June. During Pride Month, we are going to be looking into 3 different cards to look into your main energy for the month. We'll look into a card to see what is most in favor for you this month energetically, as well as a blessing card, some relationship cards, and even cards specifically on Gemini season. So we're going to be looking into quite a few things here using the charms and many different oracle decks, and specifically I tried to use 2 different queer decks today with the Threadbound Oracle and the Queer Tarot, which is actually its first time here on the channel, and I've been wanting this deck for quite a while. It has so much queer symbology and history and lots of cool things, so if you guys want me to do a walkthrough on this or talk about it more in length, I think that'd be a lot of fun, so let me know. But yeah, we're basically going to get into your month though. So do feel free to get cozy and ready to go. All of the decks and supplies will be listed down below. And we're going to see what's coming in energetically for you for the month of June. So start to get, settled and ready to go. Send in your energy. And let's see, group 1, what do you got? First off, you already chose the button that says specifically you can play, even with the, more LGBT themes of it. Like, just in general, there's this playful, youthful, even energetic feeling that I immediately got off of placing that on your guys' pile here today. So I want to see if that kind of joins us with the cards that you get. But yeah, let's see. So we first off have the 3 of Cups. What a beautiful card to be getting off right off the bat. This is all about a very connected community emotionally. So it's about finding like your kind of people, you know what I mean? It's about finding people who are very much like-minded, they like the same things as you, or they understand you on a very raw and honest level. Right? These are like your true best friends, or those people that just really get you or understand you right off the bat. There's something that threads you all together. So I see this coming in, this idea of like connecting and reconnecting maybe with those who are very much kindred spirits in your life. But let's see what else might be coming in. We also have the Wheel of Fortune. I love the bold colors of this deck. I love this highlighter pink that's coming through. It almost feels like it's highlighting this specific card. And that this month might be a very specific month for you in terms of like things that you have planned. That's what I immediately got. Like, I feel like you have like either trips, or you have big events, or things you might be going to, or things that are just really important that you've put in, social events specifically, or events that are very much connected with your kindred spirits or your community that are coming in with the Wheel of Fortune here. The Wheel of Fortune also can talk about kind of sort of like a fortunate energy of like luck. So I also see that being like highlighted here, almost to look for the luck in everyday moments this month, that there might be like hidden treasures or something like that, which is really curious and very fun. So you guys will have to report back for that one. But let's see what else you have coming in here. Group 1 for the month of June. What else do you have showing up this month? So, okay, yeah, energy. We have a lot of energy with the 8 of Wands. And then I'm also feeling this card on the bottom. So we also have the 2 of Cups. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have the 2 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. And then we have a lot of energy showcasing very quick moving energy, or like I said, you might have a very busy month. I'll go ahead and throw these up here so you can see them up a little bit closer. But in this case, usually there is a sort of angelic figure up here kind of bringing 2 souls together. But in this case, we have this cute little cat, which I just think is really fun and shows that there's a lot of humor in this card, right? Like, when we find people who understand us, we can laugh with them, we can be silly, we can be goofy, we can be funny, and we can make jokes and do fun, likey little meme-like things. So I really see you really connecting with your community this month. I see that being very important for you. Also, partnership, maybe, again, like, this is more of like friendship community, where this can be like very deep, one specific friend, or one specific loved one, or one specific even romantic relationship that might be blooming this month as well, especially with the quick feeling that we have of the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands, like, as you can see, these wands are just flying through the air. So I feel like things are going to be happening quite quickly, very fast, very rapid change, or very rapid even excitement, or like enthusiasm for the month. That's really what I'm getting here with that, like, you can play, that highlighted feeling. I feel like the people in your life are very much highlighted as well this month. The sociability, which is perfect for Gemini season, a very social sign. And then also, like I said, I feel like there's going to be signs coming in for you about luck, or about fortunate feelings that are coming in, also being highlighted into your life. So far your month is feeling very sociable, very like kindred and comfy, and something to be quite enthusiastic about. So even though things might be moving quickly, I think you're going to really enjoy a lot of the laughter and humor that is going to come in this month. But let's look a little bit further. This specific deck, I found it really funny because we have all these highlighted bold colors, and then I felt this deck was just calling really deeply, and it's like these very muted woodsy tones. So we're gonna see how they mix and mingle here, but this one was like really calling out to me today. So we're gonna see this as your blessing for the month. And I know not everyone loves the word blessing, so you can also see this as something that's coming in energetically for you that's really gonna be in your favor, or like the best energetic tool in your tool belt, however you wish to look at it. But we're going to see what's coming in there for you for the month of June. Okay, so we've got 2 cards coming in. Let's see. So first off, we have the dragonfly and pansy, which pansy in and of itself is a very queer flower, so that's really fun. And it says here, balance. And then we also have the rooster and sunflower, communication. Oh, I love that. So this is so optimistic. Whenever I see sunflowers, right, they turn towards the sun. They move throughout the day like many flowers do, but the sun just has their face always towards the sun to get, their sustenance. But if it's a cloudy day and a day that is kind of maybe you're feeling down in the dumps, or you're feeling like things aren't going right, or maybe things feel overwhelming with how quick things are moving in life, all these events and things that you might be having happen this month, you can definitely turn to your friends or turn to these kindred spirits in your life, because just like sunflowers, when it's a cloudy day, they'll turn to each other, and just by turning to each other, they can nurture each other by facing each other and get the sustenance and get their needs met that way. So I can really see this kindred energy coming through with this communication, and that other people in your life are really going to be that sunflower, that face for you, that kindness and comfort that you really might need in those moments when things feel a little bit gray. But then we also have the dragonfly and pansy, and it says here, balance. And what I love about this specific card is you can see this that none of these pansies are perfectly in balance with the colors here, right? This one has more white than blue, this one has more blue than white, right? And there's not this perfect mix. And so this is about experimenting this month and using experimentation to your best and your best advantage, or that tool belt analogy like I was saying. But also it reminds me of the idea of homeostasis, in that all of us have our own perfect balance, right? Some of us like a little bit more of this and a little bit less of this, and that's our perfect balance. It's not always 50-50. It's not always perfectly in between. We each have our own spectrum of what balance means to us. So you might also be tweaking that this month and trying to figure out where you fall in that balance. And how much maybe communication you want to have this month too, and maybe needing to find a balance there and slide it to what makes sense for you. So I see that coming in for you this month. And speaking on communication, we're actually going to pull a relationship message, which I tend to do every single month. And this is a great time to kind of send in your energy if you have a specific relationship you want to kind of look into with a family member, a friend, a romantic partner, or however you wish. Even could be with yourself or with spirit. But let's see what you have coming in general for you, group 1 for the month of June. Ooh, oh my gosh, we even got another sunflower. And it says here, radiance. What a beautiful card to get. It says radiance here. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. And so this is about following the things that give you sunshine, that give you joy, that give you that humorous, fun, fulfilling feeling, and using that as your compass, using that to help you move through the month. But also in terms of your relationships, this also can mean that, again, you're turning your face away from the sun and towards others, and using not really using them, but rather together you are both getting your needs met that way. You're both getting sustenance and care and love and compassion and growth through these interactions. So I see that coming in with radiance. I also just see that their smile, other people in your life can really bring a lot of joy and love and care, as well as yourself, and these highlighted feelings from spirit. So I really think a lot of relationships in your life are just going to feel really radiant. They're going to feel like they're really giving you the feelings that you're hoping for and looking for within a relationship. So I really see that being really nice. I also wanted to pull one more card, and I felt like, again, the bottom of the deck has been calling to me. And you have here patience. Wait for the fruit to ripen. So this isn't to say, I think what's important about this radiance, and this I was wanting to bring up anyway, is that there obviously is a balance in the amount of time you can communicate, because everybody has a different scale, right? Sometimes we can only chat for 30 minutes. Sometimes people can chat for 3 hours. Sometimes it's not a time thing, but just like, we have different levels of our social battery, right? And so it's needing to respect that as well this month, and having a little bit of patience when that happens, and trying to find a balance between you both. But I also see that coming through. So let's now focus on Gemini season. And if you've been enjoying this reading so far, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much, so thank you. We're going to move on to the charms after this, but we're going to start out, or rather finish off your card pulls here before the charms with a Gemini message. And a Gemini is at the end of the spring season, right before we go into summer here in the northern hemisphere. So it represents a cardinal sign, a sign of change, a sign of a shift, and a sign of adaptability, right? Change has to come with taking that season and adapting it into the next. So with Gemini falling at this cardinal time, it also means there's things in our lives that we can start to shift or make little tweaks and adjustments to. So I want to really pull these cards to see what in your life during Gemini season you could maybe make some adjustments or little tweaks to. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space here, and we will see what is coming in. So Gemini season, what do you got coming in? Also, happy birthday to all those that are Geminis out there. Happy birthday. But let's see what you got coming in. Group 1. I don't know why I wanted to say group 3. Let's see if we need to pull more than one card here. So first off, we have the 7 of Thread Tapestry, interdependence, wisdom, and ancestry. I love that with all of the interconnected feeling that you already have coming in. But let's see if there's anything else flying out here. Okay, so we also have the Seer, intuition, divination, and foresight. That's really interesting because, like I said, you have a lot of these highlighted feelings coming from spirit, almost like they're trying to communicate with you and highlight things in your life. So looking out for those highlights, not that they have to be like highlights like the best moments, but rather just like when you notice like these little signs and it feels in your gut like this is a sign, then definitely write those down, journal them, mark how many times it shows up. Personally, I've been seeing phoenixes everywhere on my social media feed, on like when I'm going outside, on random posters, in random books that I've been reading. So I find it really interesting when those sorts of things happen. So maybe there's certain signs that are showing up for you and being highlighted over and over and over again to the point that it's like, this has to be and mean something. So I really see that that's coming in, and maybe to make adjustments that are coming in based off of those signs and to keep that in mind. But also with the 7 of Thread here, I'm really seeing this tapestry as more of what we talked about down here, of giving a little bit of space and to respect each other's sort of social battery and spectrum here, because it all interconnects and it all works together, but it has to work with each gear turning at the right time. So I'm seeing this also coming in and tweaking and making sure that you're being respectful of the social batteries of other people in your life. Yes, we can face and find optimism and love and care by facing each other with those sunflower analogy that we had earlier, but it's also to make sure, like, if they don't want to turn, if they are currently going through something, or they need to face the sun, or they need to be doing something else, it's to respect that and know that a lot of the time it's not about you, and it's not a dig at you, but might just have something completely unrelated to you happening. So we have that showing up here with the 7 of Thread and Tapestry, interdependence, wisdom, and ancestry. You might also be getting ancestral messages as well with that Seer card. So with that all in mind, let's complete your messages by getting the bits and bobs little messages here from the charms. These are going to be cast right on top of the cards so we can see any last little details, but let's go ahead and stir these up. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's go, group 1. Okay, so what I find immediately interesting is sometimes I still have ones in my hand and I don't fully cast all of them, but one of the ones that I left in my hand was actually one of the ancestor sort of charms with the sugar skull here, and I probably would have dropped here by seer, but I ended up putting it back, which I find really interesting with your ancestry card. So I would say that if you're looking for signs and signals, it's probably from more of a spirit guide or from local not sand spirits, but maybe there's sand spirits where you live, but local land spirits in your local area, and maybe thinking about that as well. Or if you have any guides or others that you really feel strongly are highlighted in your life right now, and not kind of pigeonholing it only into ancestors. So I see that coming in with the seer, and then also I was really feeling this one as every time I like mixed the charms, this one always was in my hand. I could feel it like hitting my finger. So this one usually is like with the this is like tic-tac-toe. So this represents the O's of tic-tac-toe. So I see this as like some sort of wall or opposition, or like even with the seer card too, we have that showing up here with the circle here on the book. So I almost feel like there's this giving a little bit of space and almost just taking in everything, almost like a black hole does, right? Just taking it all in, and then filing it later. So instead of trying to like cycle through or figure out what everything means right away, just write it down, and then when that sign comes up again, you can write it down again, say what you were doing, what you were thinking about when you saw the sign, and then you can start to connect the dots from there and find the meaning to it. But give yourself a bit of a blank slate first. We also have, when it comes to maybe the people you're going to be talking to, you might be talking to someone who is a Scorpio this month, because that showed up here around the balance card. Maybe they're the one that you maybe need to find a little bit more balance in, with that whole social battery side of things. We have over here next to the Three of Cups, the focus charm. So a really big part of your focus this month and a bit of your intentions this month are definitely a part of and really planning and making time for these sacred people in your life, these kindred spirits in your life, and the diversity that comes from being around one another. And then we also have the freedom charm, because this is a cage when it's this way, but you have it kind of open, the open cage. So it's also being allowed to be, again, goofy, silly, funny, and humorous around these people, being allowed to be your full self, even if that means talking about the things that are also maybe not going so well. It doesn't always have to be things that are positive or optimistic, but also the things that are kind of, getting you down. You're free to talk about those and everything under that spectrum with them. We also have the Black Heart here, which is again making me think that with Scorpio there's something there might be some miscommunication again when it comes to making sure to give a little bit of patience around someone who might be a Scorpio in their sun, moon, or rising sign this month. We also have, for your final charm, the key to wisdom. So there's also a bit of wisdom that's going to be coming in from talking to someone, especially those one-on-one conversations, or that person, again, that's very sacred, very special, your special someone in your life, and how you communicate to them, and they might have a little bit of nugget of wisdom for you this month as well. So looking out for the wisdom and the signs that you might be receiving. So overall, that is everything here for your month of June. Again, happy birthday to all those who are Gemini out there, and also happy Pride Month and ahead of Pride Month here for everyone who is celebrating. Do be sure also to give this video a like if you enjoyed this reading, and let me know in the comments down below what resonated for you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. You're also welcome to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, and spirituality, and so many more, and I'm specifically going to be focusing on romance and queer topics this month, so do be sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated on all of that. And if you are interested in any of my offerings for snail mail readings and private readings, as well as other offerings such as spell and ritual paper and even rainbow pride earrings, then do be sure to check out my Instagram below, as well as my link tree, so you can see my availability over Pride Month, because things are going to be a little bit different. Probably halfway through to the end of June, I'll probably be opening some things back up. But if you're curious, do feel free to just send me a message or an email and I can clear that up, or we can find a booking time for you. So with all of that said, I do hope you enjoyed your reading, and I wish you the best for Gemini season and June as well as Pride Month. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this little pin with the pansexual pride flag on it, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it here for your reading today, as we are going to be playing around with the charms as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have all of this listed down below in the description. But today I'm very excited because we're actually going to be playing around with a new deck in my collection, one that I've been so excited for and just knowing what I'm going to be using quite a lot this month, and that is the Queer Tarot. As a queer person myself, I had so much fun geeking out over this deck. I might even do a whole video about it, who knows. But I also have the Threadbound Oracle, which is a really great queer deck as well. So we're going to be playing around with that with Pride Month being June, but also we're going to be looking into Gemini season. So happy birthday to any Geminis out there. And also we're going to be looking into your month of June as a whole with the energy and insights coming through. So do feel free to get cozy, get ready, and get yourself some water or a nice blanket, maybe even a journal to write things down, whatever you wish. But we are going to get started here. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's see what you got coming in here for June. Group 2. What do you got coming in for June? Group 2. Group 2. What I find really interesting, and something I want to look into as well with the specific pile that you chose, is even if you are or are not pansexual or are not part of the queer or LGBTQIA plus community, I mean, the pride flag for pansexuality does represent all. It feels all-inclusive. It feels very much about sort of expansion. So I want to see if those sorts of ideas come in as well. So let's see, Group 2. Okay. So we first off have the Six of Pentacles, and I love how groovy the colors of this deck are. But what I really like about the Six of Pentacles is it does show, and just in general, Six of Pentacles does show a give and take of energy, whether that's giving and receiving some sort of reciprocity, some sort of movement, some sort of like bargaining or trading or movement that's happening here. So I want to see how that relates to everything else with that idea of expansion or looking a little bit deeper. So let's see, Group 2. So we also have the Page of Wands here. The Page of Wands, this one is very much a travel card. It has this idea of like not a seasoned traveler, but someone who is very much still at the very beginnings, kind of figuring themselves out as they go. They're kind of the person that I feel like would be like in a caravan, or they'd be in like van life or in a camper or something like that, like road tripping. Like it just feels like some sort of adventure that you're going on, whether that's physical or and tangible, or more of a personal growth journey that you're going through this month. But you're definitely continuing to adventure and expand your world a little bit, especially like even your worldview a little bit, especially with that Six of Pentacles coming in. So I want to see, this is like one half of what is kind of finding balance here, but I want to see the other side. So Group 2. Okay. So I don't think it is those cards, honestly. I think it's this one here. Okay, so we also have the Death card over here, as well as the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so we have a few different things happening here. I really feel like your month is showcasing, like I said, that feeling of reciprocity, that feeling of balance. I'm specifically feeling really called to the scales that they have in their hand, and in less of like a justice way and more of like this kind of came up in the first pile as well, but this idea of like trying to find your perfect balance and trying to figure out what is your perfect balance. It's not always 50-50. And so I feel like there is something that you're expanding on, this expansion of ideas around the idea of balance for you, and also kind of putting, especially because we have the Two of Pentacles here, which is specifically a very much a in the flow balance card, but something that you're putting to rest around those ideas, something that no longer serves you. So like I said, with this Six of Pentacles, it showcases something going in and something coming out, a give and receive, as well as a let go energy. So while you are taking in new information over here with the Page of Wands and this adventurous, expeditious sort of feeling and expansion of ideas, we also have something that you're starting to put to rest that no longer serves your personal balance, that your balance is also shifting, something that maybe 2 years ago or even a month ago or, whatever time base it is used to be like in balance for you, that used to work for you, that balance used to be good. It's being tweaked, it's being changed, and that isn't the same anymore. You personally are evolving and your ideas are expanding. And in doing so, when we expand our ideas, we also have to make room for that. So we're letting go of what no longer serves us. So I really think you're kind of letting go in that way. I can also see you like literally purging or letting go of things physically in your life right now. Maybe, that couch that's been sitting in your basement, or that CD player, or like those flowers that have been sitting on the counter starting to go bad. Like there's something in your life physically that you maybe need to let go of and expand your ideas on, maybe shift around or revisit. Or like I said, that might come in a physical travel sort of sense as well. So I really see some sort of physicality happening here. Also maybe movement, like physically expanding your mobility in some way, also could be showing up here for some of you. But let's look a little bit further. So we're going to take a deck very different from the ones that we have here, in that I felt very called to use this deck, and I find it funny because these are like highlighter pinks and really bright colors, and this is like the calmest, brownest deck. So we're going to see what's coming in here. But this is going to be your blessing for the month of June, or you can also see this as the best energetic tool in your tool belt this month, the thing that you can whip out and really use, and it's going to be that energy that really is on your side. So let's see what that is for you for the month of June, group 2. Okay, so you got a really interesting one. This is Datura and Coyote, and it says deceit here. But it's not meaning that you're a liar or you're deceitful, but it can represent sometimes that when we put masks on, or we shield ourselves in some way from someone in our lives, or we're using some sort of way of kind of protecting ourselves through, white lies, or through just kind of changing the truth, or just changing the ways people look at us through our language and the way that we maybe are even expanding it. But what I find interesting too is Datura is specifically a flower related to dreams. And then the coyote tends to teach us really interesting lessons. The coyote can be a very playful animal, but it also can represent a creature or a spirit who is here to give us kind of those kinds of lessons where like you laugh about it later. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but they're kind of like an ironic thing where it's like, of course that would happen. Of course that would go wrong. Of course that's how that would happen. And it's so ironic that you laugh about it. There's some sort of humor here, and that they give it to you in this humorous, gentle way. So I really think that there are some things that, again, not only that you're expanding on, but also in that expansion, you might also be masking yourself. This can be, like I said, a blessing for you. So I do think maybe there's people in your life that you just don't want getting in your business this month, or you just don't really want trying to, kind of just be in your space and in what you're trying to do. It feels like more of a solo mission, and you don't really want to share it with everyone else. And so I do think that, allow your ideas to bloom on their own, and allow your dreams to bloom on their own. So that's really what I'm getting here, that you don't need to share it with everyone, especially those who are not very accepting or understanding of the expansion that you're on in this new path. but do keep an eye out for any lessons that Coyote might be teaching you. They will send them whether you like it or not, which I find really, really funny, and they usually are ones you'll laugh about later. So next up, we're going to pull a card for relationships. I do this every single month. It's one to look into any relationship you want to send in, or just in general for the collective, but this is to look into a relationship with family members, with friendships, platonic relationships or romantic ones, or even spiritual or relationships with yourself. So let's see what you have coming in here. Group 2. So we have discover and transform. So I already feel like you're definitely going through some sort of transformation, metamorphosis, or some sort of really big kind of, it literally feels like, like the Big Bang, like you're like really, like, I don't know, it just feels like you're really putting the pieces in place to make the explosion happen. That's really what I'm getting here just from your month. Like you're really building up energy for that expansion. But when it comes to your relationships, we have discovery. Look at the early dewdrops before they disappear with the morning sun. So we have that with those little tiny dewdrops. And then we have transform here with rise above any situation and become the best version of you. And so with this transformation, it's really making me think of like a chameleon, and the idea again of masking or putting on a mask to protect yourself. So I do think when it comes to sociable relationships and people that you're talking to, some of you are kind of transforming, putting on a smile, putting on a face, putting on an air, putting on a mask to be able to protect yourself. And I think that is something that obviously over time will maybe need to be addressed, but maybe that's not to be addressed this specific month. And then we also have discover with that look at those early dewdrops. So I really do think that you just don't want people to be in your business. That's honestly what I'm getting here, is just like, it's okay. Like when we go through times of transformation, we don't want all these eyeballs on us. And so it's okay to put a little mask up. It doesn't mean you have to share every little piece of everything that you're doing. As long as you feel safe, and as long as you feel comfortable, and as long as you feel like this is for you and good for your growth, then I think, just steady on your path and let other people mind their business, basically. So for your final 2 cards before we pull your charms, we're going to look into Gemini season. But if you have been enjoying this video so far, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. So thank you. But let's look into Gemini season. So for this one, Gemini season or Geminis in general are a cardinal sign. They come at the very end of a season in terms of spring into summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. So that represents an adjustment or a needed for adjustment to move into this next layer, this next piece of life or next season. So I really feel like with this cardinal energy and Gemini season, I wanted to look into something you could particularly have come into your life that you maybe need to adapt on. Again, expansion of ideas, or just something that needs a little bit of tweaking or a little bit of adapting or shifting. Almost like, again, like a clock that's sort of like, you just gotta like wind it just a little bit, make some sort of adjustment. So what do you have coming in here? Group 2 for Gemini season. Okay. So first off, you have the Sun with nourishment, optimism, and leadership. But I also want to pull this card, and the 3 of ink well. The abundance, joy, and resourcefulness. So whenever I see the 3 of ink, this always makes me think of like the 3 of cups. So the 3 of cups is all about kind of community and social events and kind of really not putting on masks and really being your full self. And so to have this come in and showcasing a tweak is telling me that like there's people in your life who, yes, can give you joy and could be really wonderful resources for you to open up to. But again, when it comes to specific people, and I'm sure you know who these people are based off of what we've already talked about, that withholding information or withholding a little bit of those transformation and metamorphosis to yourself is an okay thing and can actually be really powerful for you during Gemini season. And then the sun is also making me think of like exposure. It makes me think of like the sunshine can yes, light up our world and bring us joy, but it can also bring us like the heat. It feels like being in the hot seat. So I really feel like there are some adjustments happening there in terms of like how much you want to be seen and in what way you want to be seen, like in terms of like your physical appearance, in terms of like the things that you wear, in terms of the expansion of ideas that you're on, the traveling that you're doing, these new ideas and paths that you're taking, and how much you want people to see. And so for some people, you maybe want to put on a mask or put on sunglasses for them so they aren't seeing the full view. And for others, it's allowing making adjustments to let a little bit more people in. So I think that's going to be obviously up to you. And it's going to come in that form of that shifting of balance. But I do see that coming in to be an empowering space for you. So let's go ahead and pull you your charms here, group 2. So do feel free to send your energy in and we'll see what you have coming in for June, group 2. Okay. So let's zoom you in here. So what we have showing up here is mostly over here on this end of things. So here on the death card, which I find kind of interesting that you have this poodle showing up here on this horse. And the poodle reminds me again of that masking, the idea of like kind of, you know, obviously a poodle doesn't always look like the groomed poodle that we always see. So it feels like, again, that you're kind of grooming or shaping yourself to look like something. So it's also something to be aware of if you have like a social media presence too, that like it's okay to like take some time off and maybe not post everything or not always have to have like this perfect persona as well coming through. So I see that coming through for some of you, and maybe that's where that balance is that's coming in, where I was saying like you're shifting the scales and finding a better balance for you that now fits. But it could be something around social media or how much you share. We also have the number 4 here with deceit, and then this is an interesting one to have show up here. This is the little fork. It makes me think of like a doodle hopper or whatever they call it in The Little Mermaid, and how she uses this as not an actual fork to eat with, but rather as a way of like combing her hair. So it's thinking outside of the box, or not letting people know the full story or know the full extent of something, and possibly that's already been quite a strong foundation in your life. And like I said, it's not always healthy to have these walls up all the time, but it could be something that's useful for you this month. We also have this is sort of a sad heart, or a heart that showcases sort of, again, like I feel like it's not something you want to do always, because we have the cage here and then the sad heart. So it's making me think that even though it's protecting you and keeping you safe to maybe have this mask on, for some of you it's also kind of draining. And that's why I said like long term, maybe June's not the month to confront this, but down the line it might be something you're going to have to confront and something that you're going to want to share, but right now is not maybe the time, and that might also be quite difficult. It can be quite a lot to carry as well. So you might be making little tweaks there in how much you do want to share, or maybe you're already starting to make little tweaks and adjustments to who you share this new expansion and metamorphosis with. So overall, those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you, group 2. If you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. Always curious. You're welcome to come at the end of the month and let me know as well and type it in. But also happy birthday to any Geminis out there again, and also to Pride Month and anyone who is within the queer community. Just know you're loved, and I appreciate your existence. And then also, if you want to check out more about the channel, do be sure to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday, and specifically I'm going to be putting out more relationship videos and pick a card readings around sort of the Pride Month and queer relationship. So if you're interested in any or all of that, do be sure to subscribe. And also you're welcome to check out my offerings this month, which are going to be a little bit interesting in availability, but you're always welcome to see what my availability is down below on my Instagram, as well as just messaging me or emailing me. But I have pride earrings that I make, as well as some private readings with snail mail readings. So do feel free to check all of that out down below. And before I run out of air here, because sometimes I just get so into it, I start to lose my voice, I'm going to go ahead and move on to group 3. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this rainbow pendulum, then this is the pile for you. We are going to be looking into your month of June for energy and all of the different blessings and things that you have coming in, but also relationship messages and specifically also Gemini messages. So if you are a Gemini out there, happy birthday to you, and also happy Pride Month to all of those who are within the LGBTQIA+ community. It's wonderful to have you all here, and yeah, let's just start getting into it. So we are going to be using the charms here today, as well as several different oracle and different decks, which I'll have listed down below in the description. We have 2 different decks that are actually more queer based, which I'm very excited about. We have the Threadbound Oracle, as well as a new one in my collection, which is actually the Queer Tarot. So I'm super excited to be exploring this one with you. The colors and the imagery is so much fun, and the models in here are all queer as well, so that is super fun to have. So I could gush about this deck all day, but we're going to get into your reading. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. As always, get yourself some water, a journal, something to get cozy with, and let's just get right into it. So group 3, do feel free to send in your energy, and let's see what you have coming in for the month of June. Any energy, insights, or guidance that we really need to be aware of, or what is going to be those main energies and themes coming in for you. So first off, we have the Knight of Swords. Such a fun one in terms of all the colors here. This Knight of Swords, and just in general Knights of Swords, are very fast-paced, very rapid movers. So I really see quite a lot of very quick, very fast movements, and very impulsive movements as well. So like rapid change and very like quick, impulsive movements, as well as like actions and reactions. So I want to see how that is coming in, what kind of quick reactions are coming in here. So we have both Justice and the Sun here, but I feel like for whatever reason, all of the deck, or all of the piles here have had 4 cards. So I want to pull one more here for you and see what else we have coming in. So we also have the Hierophant. Interesting. We have a lot of different really big energies. None of them are specifically, we have a court card and then 3 major arcana cards. So you have a very impactful month. So it doesn't mean a lot of things have to be happening, although we do have this rapid, fast-moving energy of the Knight of Swords, but it does seem like you're going to have really big, impactful change or impactful growth this month. It's going to be one that you're definitely going to personally grow through. So some of the things you might be moving into and growing through, first off, just this Knight of Swords here, the person who is on here is facing the sun, right? They are actually looking towards the sun, and all of their energy is going towards the sun here. And the sun represents youthfulness, it represents innocence, it represents childlike energy of playfulness and expansion and optimism and fun, and also humor, and it really represents also like this very creative element too. So right, just like a young child is, they have this huge expansive mind, they are a sponge and they take everything in. And so I really feel like you have maybe some really exciting new energy that you're bringing in terms of like researching something, maybe taking a class, or playing even like with loved ones or something like that. Anything around those ideas, those are really your focus this month. That's what you're putting a lot of your energy, your action, and your time towards, is things that really give you joy, that give you that creative element, that make you feel celebratory and fun. And it could also be that these are things that you're healing and working through as well, with that inner child or even inner teen or whatever. We always talk about with the sun, right? We talk about just inner child healing, but sometimes we have to heal our inner tween or our inner teen. We're also maybe sometimes healing something that happened in just a couple months down the line, but there's something that that is kind of, you're putting a lot of your energy towards to research and kind of grow into when it comes to this energy, and maybe even healing it, because with the Knight of Swords, as you can see, they're having to go against the grain. They're having to fly against the wind. So I really feel like this is an energy that you maybe don't allow yourself very often, and you're trying to kind of work yourself back up into it. Because we also have Justice, which represents a lot to do with like sort of, it represents obviously like a very clear, concise sort of judgment, or not really judgment specifically, but like a very level-headed decision. Maybe that's the better word for it. So I feel like there's this level-headed decision, or a very level-headed viewpoint for you. And we have 2 swords here too, which represent like taking action. And then with the Hierophant here, we're also getting, the Hierophant has a lot to do with about challenging our ideas, challenging our traditions, our beliefs, our morals, and our habits and rituals. So I really feel like this is the month to sort of challenge what we think has always been right, challenging our morals and challenging our values. And this month, I really think you're going to be just going after what gives you joy, gives you love, gives you makes you feel comfortable and cozy, or makes you feel warm and fuzzy and happy, and just really putting your time and energy towards those things, versus the things that you feel like you traditionally have always had to, or these rules that you've been kind of strictly following. I really think you are going into some sort of rebellious phase for yourself that maybe you didn't get to have before. And there's always a little bit of a rebel in all of us. So, play around with it. See what it can give you. See what this rebellious side can bring for you. So let's see what is coming in for your blessing card. And you can see this as your blessing, or you can also see this as the energy most on your side this month, or the energy that is in your energetic tool belt and is like right there, ready to go. So I always see this as like the one that you can just pull out and it's ready for you. So we're going to see what is energetically in your tool belt this month and that blessing. So I find it interesting that I chose this specific deck because it's so like autumnal colors in comparison to the ones we have here, but it's been working out so far for the other two piles. So let's see, group three. Goodness, they're almost being rebellious themselves. Like the cards keep kind of getting stuck and clumped on each other. So group three. Do feel free to send your energy in. Oh my goodness, did you see how many cards just flew? One specifically landed upright, so we're going to take that one. But there were so many cards I had to get all the way up and catch them all off the ground, which I find funny that one of the ones that fell was actually Mischief. So we might leave that one out as well and see what comes up there. So like I said, the first one that came out here, I'm out of breath trying to grab everything. So it says the spider and passion flower with creative ingenuity, which is perfect because spiders are super, we put spiders in such a creepy crawly space, yes, but they are also super creative, right? They create just like a nest is for a bird, right? They create and they hunt, and they're very creative in the way that they think and kind of bring ideas together and weave that web. And what you're possibly weaving this month is obviously that creative joy, but also that rebellion that I had coming in for you all with Mischief, with the Marten and Foxglove here. So I don't really know a ton about martens, but I do know foxgloves also are related to like fairies and the fae and sort of hidden spaces. And the fae in the way that they will kind of steal and take trinkets. So I'm also thinking that you're like maybe weaving your own web of ideas and values and the things that really matter most to you, and kind of chopping out what doesn't anymore, and kind of making a little bit of mischief, maybe being a bit more chaotic to other people. But that's just because you're going through a form of expansion for yourself, or through a form of transformation for yourself. And when we go through that, sometimes we have to cut and paste different pieces of ourselves together until it fits. So these are the things that are most on your side this month, but let's see a relationship message. So I like to pull these every single month, and this is for any relationship you want to look into: platonic, familial, romantic, spiritual, or even one for self-love. But we're gonna see what is coming in for you all. So group 3 relationship message here. So we have be present and weed. Don't tolerate less than you deserve. Love that, with a little spade here. And then you also have be present, use the hours, don't count them, with this little sundial. So this definitely feels aligned with everything that we already have here, right? We're weeding out these old ideas, we're weeding out the dust and, the bustle of all of that stuff. And we're starting to bring in what actually lights you up, what actually feels like it's worth being present for, what actually feels like it gives you mindfulness and gives you power and drive and makes you feel joyful and creative. So seeing as this is telling you to use the hours, don't count them, and then letting go of these weeds in your life, is I feel like it's not a super social month for you. It's not about sociability, and is more about your personal self-growth and your personal connection to yourself and sort of weeding those things out. And also to, if you are going to be sociable this month, to be very present as well in the conversations that you have, really being an active listener as well as an active participant in the conversations that you're having. And making sure that the ones that actually light you up and give you something, right? Like, we don't want to talk, for 3 hours about the weather to someone if that's not lighting you up. So, unless you're like a person who actually does the weather, then maybe that does. But you know what I mean? Use those hours, use your time wisely. And so that's what I really have showing up here. So let's see your Gemini messages. We're going to see how that's coming in. But before we do be sure to give this video a like if you found it useful or helpful in any way. It really does help the channel, so thank you. But we're going to look into Gemini before pulling your charms to finish off your reading. But Gemini season starts in ends the season between spring and summer. So it is a mutable sign. It's a sign of change and adaptability, a sign of versatility and such. So what I wanted to really focus on is the idea of like adaptability and the idea of sort of adapting or tweaking or finding a piece in your life that might just need that little tweak or that little shift or change. So we're going to see what could be shifted and changed in your life over Gemini season, maybe even give you a little bit of more versatility as well. So we have the healer and we have twine. Okay, so this is interesting. So we have the 2 of thread, twine, agreement, symbiosis, and compromise. And what's interesting about twine is it's literally 2 pieces of thread that have been twined together and wound together. And if you've ever created anything with fiber arts, if you have one side tighter than the other while you're winding it together, then it's going to create an uneven tension within the twine. And so when we intertwine something into our lives that is tighter than something or not in balance, then it does create these lumps and bumps and these kind of bumps in our road. So when we're looking at this in a Gemini season way, which is quite a social sign, it's telling me that if something isn't giving you, that joy and that ease that sort of eases that tension, then you're going to have something butted up against something that frustrates you and maybe puts you on edge or gives you anxiety or something like that, or values that no longer fit you, then you're going to have this sort of rubbing against kind of feeling. And so you have that sort of changing and adapting this month, especially with the healer showing up as well, with compassion, recovery, and consent. So I really think this is the month season to really face yourself and notice where things are sort of putting a lot of tension, or that you've been sort of compromising over time, like compromising your values, compromising what matters most to you, or putting yourself last, and what maybe needs to heal there, because this is changing and you want to really go after what this rebellious phase that you're going into in a really good way, and to cause a little bit of mischief for the healing that you need. Love that for you guys. Very empowering so far. Let's pull you your charms. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's see, group 3. Okay. So these are the charms. They came out very fast. We have the letter S. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, but we have the letter S showing up here on the healer, as well as by the Hierophant, which is that sort of, you can see it as a religious leader or a teacher or a mentor or a parent or someone who is like over the top of you and teaching you these values or teaching you these ideas and this structure, and how you might be rebelling against that or even rebelling against your own personal code that you've had over the years. But we have something showing up here around S. We also have, what I find really interesting is even on the healer here, they have a book not only close to their heart, but about their heart. And then on top of that, you have the heart key. So giving yourself a little bit of compassion, giving yourself a little bit of self-love through this rebellious phase. Or, like I said, you don't have to be like a really, rebel doesn't necessarily mean cause mischief for harm for others, but rather to just put yourself first, your needs first, your joy first, and what your heart needs most first. We also have here on mischief a couple of different things. We have the owl showing up here. So whenever I see the owl, it makes me think obviously of like a lot of the things we think of, like wisdom. And then we also have the ancestor sugar skull here. So it makes me think that there could be some ancestors reaching out to you or people down your family line. Maybe this is where this Hierophant feeling is coming from, and maybe like you're trying, is it wise, is it not? And there could be something that you're challenging there. And then when it comes to this creative ingenuity, we have the trim charm. This is actually from like a fingernail clippers or whatever you call them, and so it makes me think of two being very precise about what you are sort of slicing and dicing inside this web that you're weaving. And then we also have the hope charm, so it's giving you a lot of hope, giving you a lot of optimism and possibility. And whenever I see this too, it makes me think of like a little honey pot, like Winnie the Pooh. So that's coming into of this like gentleness as well, being gentle with yourself and gentle with that inner child feeling. So those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you, group 3. I do hope you enjoyed this reading and got something out of it. Yours kind of was wham bam all over the place, but I found it really interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments, and like I said, you can give this video a like as well. And if you'd like to see other videos that I have on this channel, do feel free to subscribe, as I have already over 100 different pick a card readings and educational videos, but specifically this month I want to focus on some relationship readings, which I don't do a ton of those on this channel, but we're going to focus on a couple of those as well as some more queer topics. So do feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And as for my offerings this month, the availability is still a little bit interesting due to my schedule, but if you want to see what I have available or if I'm available, do feel free to just message me on Instagram or send me an email. I'd love to answer any questions that you might have, but I also will try to keep you up to date through my Instagram and Linktree, which will be listed down below. The things that I have, though, are personal private readings for snail mail readings, as well as even some fun queer crochet earrings that I make as well, that are handmade and handcrafted to your specific flag, or so that you could show different colors or your support towards the queer community. All of that will be down below. So with that all said, I hope you did enjoy this reading, and I'm wishing you the best for your month of June. Happy birthday to all those Geminis out there, and happy Pride Month. Wishing you all the best, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.